Welcome to layering particle systems in Blender. In this video you will see the solution, or at least my solution, to the last lecture. Use a series of particle systems to plant our various grass types and make sure we use low values during prototyping to get a feel of how the grass will look. So let's hop straight on over into Blender. So I left you guys here with some cones on a hill. That's not quite grass, so let's go over into our fluffy bunny file. And we had this one blade of grass, this grass plant. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to nest it under the ground plane itself. So let's go to the ground plane. We're going to need to turn it on. There we go. And let's go ahead and add a particle system. Now I'm going to start with probably the most common one, which will be the grass short. And I'm going to add a new particle system. I'm going to call it grass short. And then once we've done that, I'm also going to name it grass short here. And this is going to be the one that's going to cover a lot of the ground. Not absolutely everything. If the grass ends up too thick, it doesn't look natural. Grass doesn't grow and suffocate itself. So that's set up there. I don't see any hairs yet. I'm going to switch on smooth shading. I'm going to make sure I am on the ground plane. No, I wasn't. So where am I on? Oh, I've applied the grass short. Never mind, we'll remove it from there, go to the ground plane, add it in and select grass short. It's got a 0 next to it, of course, because we've just removed its only user, so now it's got no users. So there's our grass short. It's a hair, and it's now going to be an object, and grass short. Excellent. So now we've got that set up there. Let's go and set the hair length to 1 and the size to 1. And it's starting to fill up our mesh. But of course we don't want to leave it there. What we'll want to do is have some children. Now it's set to the display of 10. I'm going to leave it at a render of 10 as well. It's probably going to be enough, and I'm going to add some randomness to it, change the size. I'm even going to up the random size. I'm going to make sure there's lots of that. And random here, well, I'm going to increase that significantly, and I'm going to just change the threshold so we get some bits sticking out more than others. So about 35% of the grass blades are now completely random. Not random. Not random. There we go. It's the right way around. Okay, so I'm going to leave that like that for the moment and start adding another particle system. So let's now go in and add another particle system. I better call that short grass, otherwise I'm going to forget. Grass short, short grass. Okay, a particle system 2. What should we do next? Let's do the medium. M-E-D-I-U-M. Medium grass. Now, of course, here I'm going to borrow my short grass that we've already done, or grass short. I'm going to make it a unique user and immediately call it medium grass. In fact, I'm going to rename the other one. Just me being analytical about it all. Shot. So S-H-O-R-T grass. If I spell the other one short? No, that's fine. Okay, so medium grass. Let's go in and select here one of the medium grasses. Excellent. And we can see there's probably too many of those, so I'm going to knock down the number here to maybe 200. That's starting to look quite nice. Now I'm going to just go in straight away and add ourselves a vertex group. I'm going to call it medium grass 1. I'm happy with the base grass, the short grass covering absolutely everything. I'm going to have medium grass 2. Whilst I'm here, I'm just going to set these up. I'm going to have the grass short plant. Grass short plant. then there'll be grass seed, and there will also be grass seed, the plant itself, so grass plant. Oh, grass seed plant, so I know which one it is. Naming is very important. I've got to remember, if I come back to this in a few years' time, well, I know what it means. So let's go in and go to the medium grass, which we're on at the moment. Let's go to the particle system with the medium grass and turn on the density and select medium grass 1. Excellent. We'll just need to change, once we've got this right, we can just change a couple of values. So now make sure we've got the right one selected. I have a habit of not checking before I plough forward. Switch into weight paint and let's, much better. Now you see here the number of, because I've only highlighted a very small area, I'm going to turn off those there. I've only highlighted that small area there. It's causing all of my grass, the 200 plus, each one's got 10, so the 2,000 blades of grass are in that area there. Now I'm going to put this type of short grass very sporadically over our ground. I'll put it there and a bit denser over there. Now what we could do is arrange it where the camera is, but I'd like to put it in our entire scene for the moment, so I can move the camera around and find a good angle later on. So I'm happy with that, so I'm going to go and add a new particle system. I'm going to call this one medium grass 2. I'm going to borrow medium grass, make it its own unique user, and we've got a couple of things to change. I'm going to change the vertex groups down to medium grass 2. I am then going to change the grass medium to grass medium 2. So that's those things changed. And the vertex group, we're going to go to medium grass, and I'm just going to do something ever so slightly different. As you can see, the grass is coming in, and as I paint more and more, it will start to thin out. So that's those ones done as well. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to lower the number as well. What we don't want is it to be too dense at this point in time. So I'm going to lower that down to 5. I'll probably do the same with the other medium grass. Now this obviously you can tinker with to your heart's desire. I'm going to go for 8 here. Now of course a lot of these have the same seed, so I'm just going to, even though they're not the same distribution, I'm just going to change the seed type on here. There we go, that shows you what's going on there, and I think seed of 0 for that one's absolutely fine. Soon find out when it comes to rendering. So we've got a couple more particle systems to make. So let's add in another one. Let's do the grass seed one. Grass seed, there we go. And again, I'm going to borrow the where is it? Short one, short grass down there. And I'm going to reduce the number all the way down. I'm literally going to go down to 200 or something along those lines, maybe even less, 100. It's over the entire area, which is fine. Children, I'm going to go down to 5 children. So there's not very many of these. We'll start to see them in a moment when I put on the grass seed, not the plant, but just the grass tool seed. There we go. And yeah, that all looks fine, and it's all across the entire scene. Now I'm going to see how this is starting to look. I'm going to look through the camera to see what type of view we've got. Well, the render would look absolutely hideous with that camera selected. So let's go ahead and go up here, lock the camera to view, let's zoom out, spin round, and it's probably going to be a view something like that. Let's change the, before we go ahead and render, let's change the samples. The render sample's currently at 100. I'm going to lower it down to 5, so it's relatively quick. It's going to take a while to compute some of those objects there. Now, we can start to see here that the hill is, You can see the hill at the moment. That's not a big deal. We probably need to increase the density of the base grass because there's not enough of it, but that's why we render, so we can go back in straight away. I think there's enough tall grass there, so let's go and grab our short grass particle system and turn that up to 1000 and see how that renders out. That's taking a little longer and looks like it's going to be a little more dense. Of course, the lower samples does mean that it's possible that you're going to get some black colorations, because obviously if there's not enough samples to go through the object with light, as you can see it's taking a lot longer as well, we'll end up with these dark patches. Alright, that's looking like we've got a decent amount of cover there. I'm just going to stop the render. I'm going to lower that down to 600 for the time being, and we can play with these. That's the great thing. We can go backwards and forwards all day long. And I'm just going to add in a couple of our plants themselves, but I'm going to put them in very specific locations. So let's go ahead and hop into 3D view. I'm going to hide the other particle systems first. And I'm going to go over here and do both of these at the same time. So the grass short plant, I only want that around that area there. Let's only put it on hills, why not? And the grass seed plant, I'm going to make this brush a little smaller and pop some there, some here, some there, one or two up on the top of the hill. Perfect. Now there are only going to be a few of those, so with the particle system, I'm going to create a new one and call it grass short plant. I'm going to set this one up manually rather than borrowing settings of any of the other ones, so I want it of type hair. Now I'm going to change it straight away for the density here to be grass short plant. That's the one we're working on, so we can see the areas it's going to be in. I'm going to turn off children. I don't want any children on this, so it is off by default. I don't need 1,000 of them, probably 50, maybe a little more than 50, 200 in total. And the hair length of 1. The object is what we're going to use. We're going to use grass short plant. There we go. And set the size to 1 here as well. That looks good, apart from it doesn't seem to be adhering much. I think that's just no, it's not. Grass short plant. Am I painting the right one? Grass seed plant. Grass. Just a naming. There, grass short plant. Excellent. Is there another one down here? And we need grass. Grass short plant, grass seed plant. That's why I've assigned it to the wrong one, or I've just misnamed things and not noticed. Very easy to do with lots of things going on. So grass short plant, that's the layout I want. Now I'm going to copy that into the next one. So did I name it? No. So grass, go in here, grass short plant. And then I'm going to borrow it in the particle system 6, grass short plant. Grass short plant, why can't I see it? Is it further up? Oh yes, it is, grass short plant. And I'm going to call this grass seed plant. And just scroll down, probably even less this time, so maybe 100 of them in total on the scene. And I'm going to select the grass seed plant distribution. Perfect. So let's, I haven't changed the object by the looks of things. Grass seed plant. Okay, that's probably too many. That looks more like a field of corn rather than anything else. So let's turn it down to 50. And I want a bit more randomness in here. So let's see if we can get anywhere with the random size. That's a bit better. We make it a bit smaller. Random size only seems to make it smaller than what it was before, so if I increase the size ever so slightly, it will be larger. Okay, so let's spin back round to around here. Let's turn on all the other layers themselves, starting to get a bit dense. I don't know how long this is going to take to render. Has our world got an environment texture on? It has. Excellent. It's going to be well lit. Let's see how this turns out. Of course, what we should do at some point is also put the bunny back in the scene. And let's line up the camera with the bunny. It's going to look something like that. And render it out. And let's see what it comes out like. Okay, brilliant. That has turned out rather well. I'm liking how that is looking. We've got a few tweaks that I can see straight away to do, and of course we're only at a very low sample rate at the moment. And notice that took 1:45. My laptop is no slouch, but it's also not a complete powerhouse. So that's rendered out rather nicely. I like the way it's turned out. The grass looks quite natural lying about here. There's a bit too much tall grass. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And where the tree is going to be, which I think is going to be somewhere around here, probably want to remove some of the grass from there. It actually looks quite dense up there. Right, so I'd love to see how your guys' meadows are coming on. Please show me how you're getting on in the discussions. I'd love to see what sort of grass you've come up with as well. So I always run a bit short of time in these videos. I'm just going to run through how I got to this stage. A few extra bits that I've done. Obviously I've coloured in the ground with a diffuse colour, and to do that I have gone to the ground plane itself, gone to the materials properties, and literally created a material. I haven't named it yet. I'm going to call it soil for the moment. So it's my soil material, and I set it as a lighter colour brown, not too dark, because the shadowing that's caused by the grass on top of it will usually be enough to give us some darker soil as well. Now you'll notice that between the last image you saw and this one here, I've added a few extra details, and let's break them down now. I'm going to hop into the data properties here, and you'll see I've added a thing with the vertex group here that I've painted in. I've added some extra grass around the rabbit itself to make sure that it is covered up properly. Perhaps a little bit taller grass there. We could go for lots of different things. Particle systems, I've added that grass around the rabbit base as well, and I've used my short grass view. So if we just go into the 3D view, I can show you that. So let's turn off everything here, all the bits we need. Okay, so I used our short grass across the entire scene. I used the medium grass based over there, this one over there. The grass seed itself, the long seed, I spread it out very thinly across the entire scene. The grass short plant I scattered all over the place, but I also made it a tiny bit larger and put it around the rabbit base as well, just to make sure it was fully covered up around there. I could have probably painted that in a bit smoother, but I literally just dumped all the grass there to make sure that the base was covered up. And finally, the grass seed plant, well, I've scattered that about as well. A few critiques of my final render, or this isn't the final render, but it was the render before the final render. I've got the grass you can see through here. I don't know whether that's a big problem or not, but it does highlight that the ground is super smooth, and ground generally isn't super smooth like that. So there's a couple of things we could make it undulate a bit more, but I'm not too bothered at this stage about that. That's something we can always sort out later. So how did you guys get on? I'd love to see your fields, your meadows, or your grassland that you've created. Please share that in the discussions, and I will see you guys in the next lecture. Take care.